Rise of the Beast hype train continues with part 3, this time looking at Bumblebee and Battletrap. I talked about Cheetor in the first one, and I talked about RC, Freezer, and Airazor in the second one, and now we're talking about another Deluxe and another Voyager. And both of these are pretty nice. I really like them. There's a couple issues, a couple quirks here and there that I have, but overall, very nice, solid Deluxe Bumblebee. Actually, one of my favorite Bumblebees they've done in Studio Series, period. And then Battletrap is just a cool, evil, truck, man. He's cool. I like him. Alrighty, so before we talk about these, let's talk about the packaging. I threw them out on accident already. I'm sorry. They're gone. I did get these at Amazon. They're not stolen or anything. It's not like with Cheetor, where I got him significantly early enough to want to show the package and validate its existence. I accidentally threw them out. I'm sorry. I couldn't, remember that. But here they are, really solid figures. And before I talk about them, I want to actually show this off. Let's show off what we got so far. So for the Terracons, we got Battletrap and Freezer. And I do want to make an amendment for Freezer with his turret mode. I didn't realize it does kind of tab in. Kind of at the elbow right there. They do kind of tab in. But the legs still don't tab in. So, it's a little better, I guess, for that weird turret mode. But also, this guy just... he's not going to transform in the movie. Someone mentioned that the designer said, no, he doesn't transform. We just gave him some weird alt mode just to make him a Transformers toy. So there's Freezer. And then here is good old Bumblebee and RC. So we can kind of see that scale. I think that works pretty well. Bumblebee's kind of squat right now, though. So let's stand him up. So we can kind of see, big old Camaro boy versus little motorcycle woman. So there we go. And then last, definitely not least, I still think Cheetor is the winner so far. I love that Cheetor too much. And then here it is with Airazor as well. So it's kind of cool for the initial assortment. They gave us two Maximals, 2 Autobots, and 2 Terracons. I think it's pretty solid. Look at how much bigger Airazor is than Bumblebee. It's kind of wild. I think it's cool that the beasts are bigger this time around. But yeah, looking cool. Cool assortment so far. I'm really digging the Terracons. Like, the color on Battletrap is a super cool. The Autobots, that is a solid Autobot stuff right there. Bumblebee and RC, digging it. And then the Maximals, yeah, that's, in my opinion, straight out of Beast Wars, just modernized. Really digging them. That's kind of my catchphrase. I say that all the time. Really digging it. Alrighty, let's get these out of the way. Because we've got a couple new boys to talk about. Bumblebee and Battletrap. So let's talk about Bumblebee first, because Bumblebee is Bumblebee, and we all know and love Bumblebee. So I did have to fix a couple issues I had with mine, namely at the head. So mine's head was super loosey-goosey and was awful and terrible, so I popped it off and put in a little bit of tissue paper, and now it is not loosey-goosey, and it can actually turn nice. Seriously, it bobbled around when I shook him. And another thing, I was like, the head looks bad. I'm like, why does the head look bad? And I looked at the box, which is now gone, and I realized, oh yeah, it's because he's supposed to have silver around his eyes, and they left it yellow. So I did take the liberty, and I used a little bit of silver Sharpie, and just put a little bit of silver around the eyes, and I think it makes a world of difference, because he's supposed to have some yellow around his face, right? But it was just too much yellow, and it made his eyes stick out and look really weird and funny, and it just made it look bad. So, I took the liberty of improving my toy, and I'm happier with it because of that. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. And, if you're like, your Bumblebee looks a little different than mine, that's why. So hopefully the loose head is not a widespread issue. Fingers crossed. But the rest of this guy is super cool. So I love old Camaro Bumblebee, and this is a different interpretation of old Camaro Bumblebee. It's kind of a mix between what we saw at the end of the Bumblebee movie, as well as his, kind of off-road upgrade for Rise of the Beasts. And I'm digging it. That's my catchphrase again. Take a shot every time I say I'm digging it, but just make it a shot of water, please, because you're going to die if it's anything else other than that. Even then, you're probably still going to get upset. Your stomach's going to get upset by doing that. So just don't. Just don't. Anyways, yeah, it's a nice Bumblebee. He does come with a couple accessories. He's got his newer style hand cannon, which I definitely prefer the classic, Michael Bay style hand cannon. But it's still nice looking, I still dig it. And he's got his, sword, which is entirely unpainted, which is kind of a shame. But, at least he's got it. He's got it. I love the proportion on him. Like, that is the newer movie version of Bumblebee right there. You know, the big stout legs, you know, broad shoulders. Love the look of the chest. I think especially with the middle part of the chest, it looks so good. The back is pretty flush. You know, it's not sticking out horribly. It's not really flooping around. It does kind of floop a little bit, but it kind of, you know, sits in place. They've really done a lot better with making sure that the panels fold in neat on the back. They've done a pretty good job with that. I love how the front bumper kind of goes over the shoulders here. It just looks nice. Kind of adds a little bit of that roll cage look to the robot mode, and I just dig that. Yeah, it's a nice Bumblebee. I really do like it. One nice thing, too, if you actually don't like that bumper, you can just take it off. You know, so keep that in mind if you're seeing this thing loose over the years. You know, if you're looking for it on eBay years and years later, make sure he's got that bumper, because you might see it like this and you're like, oh, cool Bumblebee, and you get it and it's like, oh, no bumper. So yeah, keep that in mind. I always kind of like pointing out things that are easily losable on Transformers toys, because in my experience, you know, I've gotten burnt on a couple older figures I've bought and they're missing a pretty key accessory. So yeah, nice robot mode. I love the look of it. He's got the nice paint on the feet. The legs look nice. I think those turned out pretty well, even though I think the wheels in the front, those could have been, you know, that panel could have at least hinged back and had the wheels in the back. But given how they had this panel for the transformation, I can kind of understand the decision making. Yeah, that wheel placement's a little, just a little off. But the wheels here, those are fine. You know, the wings are fine, because now he actually does have the door wings. In Rise of the Beast, which I think is nice. I kind of missed him in the Bumblebee movie. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. You can take the weapons out of his hands, obviously. This can just come out. And you can only put the blaster on his right hand, if it's the only hand you can do it on. However, you can put the sword on either hand. Yeah, it's a nice Bumblebee. So his articulation, he's got a ball joint at the head. You can move the wings, ball joints at the shoulders. Actually swivel hinges at the elbows. I don't think he has anything at the waist. Actually, he does. Correction, he does have a little bit of a waist articulation. Ball joints at the hips, swivel, nice knee bend, and his ankles are actually pretty nice. You don't get too much forward and back, but you do get a rotation and a really nice pivot. So that pivot can really be used to your advantage. You know, just kind of showing real quick. You know, getting that knee bend and that pivot. Yeah, you can get him in some like movie 1 Optimus Prime promo picture poses. Yeah, that's pretty solid, and he'll stand too. That's a pretty solid pose. So yeah, my overall verdict on this Bumblebee, at least in the robot mode, absolute winner. Absolute winner. Love it, love it, love it. I actually think, I'm thinking about this. Am I going to say it? I think I'm going to say it. I think this is my favorite Studio Series Bumblebee. I think it is my absolute favorite, because it combines my favorite look for him with the old Camaro, with the nice upgraded, you know, Bumblebee movie design, and it's just solid. It's a solid figure. It doesn't have finicky pieces, especially that Volkswagen one. Ugh. The main one from the Bumblebee movie was such a flippy, floopy, weird mess with clear hinges and panels, and it just was not fun. This guy's fun. And let's show off some more of the fun by, you know, transforming it. So let's get this all folded out, because that, you know, pretty typical Bumblebee. I just reviewed the Earth Spark one too, so, you know, that's pretty standard for a Bumblebee. This one does have a little bit of a complication, though, getting that all tabbed in, but I'll show you. These panels, make sure those are flipped down. Maybe actually have them down a little bit. We'll see if that helps, because there's some clearance issue getting that tabbed in. Then this will untab and flip up. Then the legs, I love how the legs transform. These panels will flip up. If you hear any rattling, that's one of the cats playing with a toy. Then the feet, I love how the feet kind of collapse in, and then these panels rotate. This is such a solid way to transform the back. Like, when I was doing this, and I was figuring it out, I was like, wow, that's clever. It's really clever how it goes together. I really enjoy it. You do have to make sure, though, that these actually fully tab in. There we go. See, it wasn't tabbed in on that side. So we're getting there. You can see we're getting there. The arms, I would say they are kind of a point of contention, because they kind of just rest underneath the car. I mean, they're not like sticking out horribly. They're not being an absolute nuisance, but they're kind of just sticking out. So let's see. That does help. So when you're transforming it, make sure the chest panels, remember how they're flipped up? Flip them down. because I was trying to do it with it straight and it wasn't giving me enough clearance. So flip those down when you're putting that down, and that'll give you the clearance you need. So there's a little pro tip. I love the black. Look at all this black striping. And then the legs will tab. I've actually noticed it's easier to kind of tab it in from like an inward angle like that, and then tab the back feet together. And then, almost there, put in the door wings. I thought that went in, but it did not. Okay, almost there. Get that all squished. And basically the arms, you can see there's a little slot right there. It'll just slot in right there. They just hang underneath, basically. So you can see it's kind of a bummer. They're just kind of hanging down there. But look at this. That is a very cool looking, you know, souped up old Camaro. I think they did a really good job. I can tell it's just squishing out a little too much right there on the hood, but it's not the end of the world. So yeah, really nice. Love the alt mode. I love the kind of roll bar look and the added bumper in the back, and I love the added armor almost. This does have weapon storage. It does have a little tab right there. It'll just go right there. However, even though that's great storage, this storage is seriously just there's a almost invisible slot back there. You just slot it in, and it looks ugly and weird. It's like, why would I ever want to do that? No. I was hoping it would like go under here somehow. You know, maybe tab into the, you know, just do something. But nah, it just kind of, you just put it in the back. So that we'll leave off. Yeah, really solid alt mode. Love this Bumblebee. It went together really nice. It's not finicky. It didn't make me upset. It's good. Like I said, it's my favorite Studio Series Bumblebee. Really highly recommend this one. So, that leaves us with good old Battletrap. And I really like Battletrap. I pretty much only have one issue with him. And my main issue is, well, let's just get out of the way. Yeah. He's a little loosey. his shoulders are loose. Pretty much that's just how they're built. Like, untabbing him a little bit, you can see that panel right there is like how the arm is connected. And the arm is like pinned into the panel, and pins oftentimes can not have enough friction. So you might be able to add some, you know, glue or something in there and just rotate and get some more friction in there. He can still hold poses with his arms, but, you know, when it comes to certain poses, they're just kind of gonna flip around. Then that's his mace weapon. We'll get that back. Yeah, you know, it's a little disappointing. You know, it's kind of loose. But, you know, as you can see, you can still have him hold poses. You know, it's not like the arms are always going to fall. He's not a super loose, awful thing. But, yeah, it's something I wanted to point out. Hopefully it's not widespread. But, you know, I was able to fix Bumblebee. Might be able to fix this. I just want to point that out. So I'm sure some people are, like, screaming at the screen, "You don't have this right!" And, you know, I kind of do, kind of don't. Basically, I have it connected like the how it'll be in the vehicle mode, where it kind of slots in right there. Because even though he doesn't come with the chain, this is like a chain mace. You can see it kind of sculpted into the ball. And this, you know, even though it's obviously not a chain, in the world of Transformers toys, it allows it to kind of look like it's on a chain. So you can kind of flail it around like this. You know, it's got some hinges you can work with. But how it's supposed to go on paper, it's basically a bulkhead style accessory. So you'll open it up and just put it over his hand and close it up. You know, and it looks nice. You know, it's kind of a nice, like I said, bulkhead style weapon. But I kind of like it on the chain. I think the chain looks really cool. Especially since he's supposed to be a tow truck, you know. It's kind of like the Tane from the Tro. That's what I was about to say. you know what I mean. Yeah, really cool looking robot. I love the look of him. His big old legs look super cool. I love the color scheme. You don't see a lot of orange Transformers. And look at that head, man. This head is sweet. I love the cool, like, red visor look he's got. And I love the maw. And he's got, like, a Gundam-style V-fin. He's just really cool looking. I love the lights poking out by his shoulders, too. That looks really cool. His chest. Look at that chest. I love the rusted bumper. It's so nice. I do want to point out with the transformation, the spikes are kind of close to the you know, to the surface. And I do have a little bit of paint rub on those bigger spikes there from, you know, just briefly rolling it around one single time. Yeah, you know, other than that, he's big, he's spiky, he's cool looking. His back, you know, pretty well put together. Not really something that, you know, triggers me as like, oh, it looks awful. You know, it's a nice back. I think it works great. And he's fun, man. That's the whole point of this hobby, isn't it? It's fun. It's a fun toy. He does kind of have these things sticking out his arms, but, you know, you can have him out. You know, you can put the thing at the end. They're weapons. He's a big old robot. You know, he can do what he wants to do. And you are the owner of said big robot. You can have him do what you want him to do. Yeah, he's cool, man. You know, he's a new character. It's one we haven't really seen before. I like it. I really like it. I think, except for Cheetor, I think it's my second favorite from the Rise of the Beast line. I think he's probably my second favorite. Bumblebee definitely third. And then I'd say Airazor, then RC, then Freezer. Yeah, you know, he's definitely a solid number 2. I just think that Cheetor makes me, you know, unreasonably happy. So his articulation, he's got a ball joint at the head. You can articulate these if you want. If you want these, you know, out or up. I think they do kind of look cool if you have them up. I don't know, something about that I think kind of looks neat, but, you know, they're supposed to go down. Shoulders, we've already talked about that. Loose swivel. And it's a hinge right there. Shoulder pad is separate, as well as the spikes back there. Elbow, you know, elbow does elbow things. This stuff, it's on a swivel, and it's on a hinge, and then it's on another hinge. His waist does swivel for transformation, but I think it works really well. Also, I love that detail in the chest. Oh man, it just looks so cool. Hips do hip things. Thighs do thigh things. Very nice knee bend. Very nice. Then his ankles, keep this in mind, that is a transformation hinge that can, you know, kind of look like how I did about a year ago. But you do have, you know, a pivot right there and a little bit of a hinge. So his ankles work well. And get that hinge down, get this ankle pivot on the go. Yeah, you know, you can get him in some pretty cool poses. Look at that. Ah, yeah. Bumblebee, you just fell for my Battletrap. Ah. Sorry. All right, let's transform him. Let's see how he looks. And his alt mode is very cool, by the way. I really like his alt mode. The transformation to get there is a little finicky. It's a little, you know, little not as pleasant as I'd like it to be, and I feel like things don't tab in as much as I'd like them to. But still, I'd say it's pretty successful. So let's get those lined up first. Just, you know, get it out of the way. Light bar just tabs in. And all this will rotate. Then that's his real bumper right there. That's the real bumper. So it's a fake bumper. Oh no, awful. Worst toy ever. I love this part. I love how that folds down, and then these just, oh yeah, the big old chunk of the truck just hinging up. That is just so cool to me. And then this will kind of collapse in and just go in like that. And you can see what I was talking about with the spikes. You know, they're pretty much right there, so those are going to get rubbed on, so keep that in mind. It's just kind of a bit of an oversight. All right, and then the legs, flip those around. We will flip the feet down, flip these panels. And then interestingly, after we get these flipped in as well, they kind of flip similar to, I want to say, 30th Anniversary Springer. Yeah, they flip like Springer. And that's really nice. Get that slotted together. Then this is kind of tabs in. You kind of feel the tabs go in. And then, pretty much all we have left is the arms. And the arms are kind of tricky. So, get this untabbed. You got this double hinge going. We'll rotate the arm like that. Then you really have to work with that double hinge because it really wants to get in your way and really wants to fight you. But you get that kind of flush. And then basically, that'll be... Oop, I have it flipped. You flip the arm like this. There we go. Arm's going to be flipped in like that. Because then those need to tab together. Alright, there's one arm. And the other one, we'll get this. Alright, we're getting there. you can see it's kind of a clearance mess. The transformation's pleasant until you get to the arms, and then you're just like, oh man, stop, no. Okay. So the arms don't even really tab into each other. Like, the arms don't really tab in anywhere. It's pretty much just a matter of tabbing that together right there. So I would definitely say the arms are the weakest point on this figure overall. And pretty much the last step, just collapse this, and then struggle to get everything lined up, because that's how everything always goes on these things. But there we go. There we go. It's pretty much him in his vehicle mode. I did kind of tease this where things don't line up. That big piece that you line up right at the end, it doesn't want to tab in too well on this side. It tabs in okay on this side. You can see it's okay. It doesn't really tab in too well on this side. So keep that in mind, you know, has some weird tabby issues. And also there's a gap right here. That's supposed to be there, that gap. It almost looks like there's something missing right there. But last step, just get this big old wrecking ball on the back. And there we go. Here is this cool looking orange beat up tow truck in the vehicle mode. I do have to say, I love what it says on the side. Bernie's. I'm only going to assume that is a reference to the late and great Bernie Mac. That is all I'm going to assume, and that is the only thing I'm going to assume, because that makes me very happy. When I transformed this thing and I saw Bernie's, I was like, oh, Bernie. That's so nice. I really love that homage to Bernie Mac. That is so nice. Because he played Bobby Bolivia in the first Transformers movie, and he passed away very shortly after that. Or was it like before the movie came out he passed away? I don't remember. It was around that time. But yeah, Bobby Bolivia was a great character. Bernie Mac, you know, very funny. Definitely nice homage there. I really enjoy that. I'm only going to assume I don't know what other Bernie thing relative to Transformers that could be other than Bernie Mac. But yeah, you can see I love the front. GMC logo's looking super cool. You do have that rust look still in the front. It's just such a nice looking truck, man. It does kind of get messy in the back. You know, the hands are just sticking out, and, you know, it's looking kind of messy and odd, but it's the fun of Transformers toys, man. If you're complaining about, oh, you see his hands, blah, 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 you're in the wrong hobby, dude. It's Transformers. We're always going to see the hands, and we're always going to see dumb things, and like, sure, they could improve it. They could have worked it out in a different way. Sometimes I do take certain issue with some of their cuts they make. Like, for instance, Bumblebee's head. You know, I took the liberty of, you know, adding a little bit of Sharpie to it. You know, I do have certain issues with certain things that are in Transformers, but other things I'm just like, I don't know, I can't explain it. Certain things really bother me, and other things it's like, yeah, it's just a part of it. You know, I'm not going to complain. But I am going to point it out since it is a review, and even if it doesn't bother me, it might bother you, you know? It might bother you, but it just personally doesn't bug me. Alrighty, guys, there we go. Thank you so much for watching. Love these figures. Definitely recommend both of them. Battletrap is a nice breath of fresh air into the franchise. I love the Terrorcons. I'm excited to see what they're going to be like. I'm excited to get Scourge. That's a really cool looking one. And I'm hoping, we've seen like leaked pictures of Rhinox and Optimus Primal from like the main line, I guess. But I wonder what they're going to be like in Studio Series. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think about these down in the comments below. Like I said, Bumblebee, my favorite Studio Series Bumblebee, and Battletrap. He's just fun. He's just a fun Voyager. I love him. Alrighty, there we go. Thanks so much for watching. Special shout out to the channel members, as always. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Genuinely appreciate it. You know, if you're a channel member, you get shouted out in every single video. And, you know, if you're in the mid and higher tier, you get early access to videos. And if you're in the higher tier, you get to make video requests. You know, it's cool. I appreciate the support, and, you know, I want to give back to those who support me. You don't have to, though. You don't have to. Just watching's enough. Alrighty, guys. Have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.